How to get started virtual wholesaling real estate in 2024. What is up, guys? Zach in here.
Rick in here.
And after doing thousands of virtual wholesaling deals, I can tell you straight up, it is easier than ever in 2024 to actually get started in virtual wholesaling. You got to get your knowledge right. You got to have the right attitude, and you must be willing to do the work. And if you're willing to do that, you can easily make 100 grand your first year. You can get your first deal in as little as 2 weeks doing this. You're going to need a getting started guide. You're going to need a blueprint, someone to hold your hand. And this is where we're at for you right now today. So let's cut the fluff. Let's get rid of all that. If you're going to pay us $5,000 to learn virtual wholesaling today, this is going to be the exact information I'm going to give to you right now. So if you were going to pay us $5,000 to learn virtual wholesaling real estate, this is going to be the exact step-by-step guide for you right now. Let's cut the fluff. Let's get into it. Step-by-step, how to get started in virtual wholesaling.
So the first step in virtual wholesaling is to pick your market. And honestly, this is probably one of the most critical steps you'll do. The reality is you're going in the virtual market because you're either in a completely saturated market or you just don't have enough people around you to make it work in your local economy. And I get it. Picking up and moving just for wholesaling doesn't make sense in today's current economy. So what we can do is pick a virtual market. Always try to remain active in your local market because even if you pick up 1 or 2 deals a year, you know the market better than anyone else. But to keep you busy and keep the cash coming in, you can pick a virtual market. And the biggest question we get is, how do you pick the virtual market? So what I want to do is walk you through some parameters to ensure you pick the best market to have the best success in virtual wholesaling. So number one, the first thing we're going to do is we look at population. Yes, there has to be a certain amount of population. 100,000 is what we consider a good, solid market. Why? Because it is a healthy population. It means there's a huge inflow of people, and that means there's tons of cash buyers there. Remember, anything below 100,000, you start to get less demand for the product. There's less cash buyers. And for this reason, we didn't randomly pick 100,000. It just, from our statistics and doing virtual markets, we have the most success in markets of 100,000 or more. Now, if it's on the edge, it's fine. But like if you have a population of 25, it's going to be problematic because you're not going to have enough cash buyers to buy your contract. So that's the first one you want to go off. The second one is going to be average medium home price. Why is this important? Because you need to stick within the average median price or definitely below that. So if the average median price when I shot this is around $441,000 per household in the United States, I want you to find a market below that. What's the sweet spot? Anywhere from 250 to like 350, depending on when you are, as long as there's good demand and you have a high population so you can draw from the cash buyers, guys. But going below the average median price, the reason we want you to stay well below the average median price is because there's more demand there. And these are just regular people looking to sell their house. When you get in the $1 million houses, they're going to want to hire professionals like real estate agents and brokers, and they're going to cut you out. So we want you to start out with the best success possible virtual wholesaling, 100K population. And I want you to be well below your average median price in that market. The lower the price point, honestly, is usually going to be the better. I don't want you to go in troubled neighborhoods, problematic neighborhoods. The idea is you want to look for blue collar class working neighborhoods that are just below the average median price.
So stick to county populations above 100,000 people and the median home price below 400,000. Those are always going to be the best virtual wholesaling market. So if your market you currently live in is not in that, that's why you're watching this video. You're got to get in some virtual wholesaling. Now, the next thing we got to do is we have to just choose 2 and 2. What does that mean? Choose 2 lists and 2 marketing channels. That is it. Stop over complicating this. The thing actually stopping you right now from getting wholesaling success and actually doing deals and getting that first deal is you just overcomplicating things. You overthinking what you have to do. And the first thing we have to do here is just eliminate your excuses. And a lot of people have excuses of overanalyzing, overthinking all these things. So this is my rule. Pick 2 lists. I don't care what lists they are. Just make sure there is some motivation with this list. This can be a vacant properties list. This can be a pre-foreclosure list. This can be your code violations, your water shutoffs, evictions, whatever it is, drying for dollars, reverse drying for dollars, whatever it is. I don't care. As long as it's a list, you'll be fine. Heck, virtual wholesaling, you can find someone to drive for dollars for if you want. Heck, you can virtually drive for dollars. Whatever you choose, anything we have in freewholesaling.com or free wholesaling course, just choose 2 lists. Now, I want these lists to have at least 1,000 leads in them per list. Now, if it's a probate, maybe 250, 300 would be fine, but make sure it's at least 1,000 you can compile. Then from those 1,000 leads, you need to choose at least 2 marketing channels to do. You can do 1, but I'd probably recommend 2. And these marketing channels are most likely going to be cold calling and texting. I just hate to say it, if you're trying to get your first wholesaling deal, those are going to be your top 2 ones, especially when you're doing things virtually. I don't care what your budget is or anything like that. You can have a high budget for cold calling and texting, and you can have a $0 budget for it. It works no matter what you do. But the thing you have to do is you have to physically pull the list. You have to do the work. Once you do it, you can get to the next step and get in some deals.
So the next step is to formulate a plan. So you really can't make progress on something until you set up a plan. The more you simplify this plan, the better off you're going to do. Because remember, you're just getting started out, and do not make so many steps that it's almost impossible to accomplish. So there's 2 things you have to consider when making a plan on wholesaling. Number 1, how much time is this going to cost you? That's right. You need to figure out what your return on time is. Because in the beginning, you're going to have to put a lot more time in it because you're not familiar with it and you don't know how to do it. And it's going to be slow and painful in the beginning. So you're going to have to set aside time for it. The good news is this time should get less and less as you learn the task as you go. Step 2 is you have to come up with a financial plan. How much money is this going to cost you? And what kind of resources do you need? Listen, some of you got to be brutally honest. If you're just dead broke, I get it. But you're going to have to commit the most amount of time if you have the least amount of money. And if you do have money, you're still going to have to commit the time. See, a lot of people think you can replace the money with time, but the problem is part of that time equation is called experience. And the only way you're going to get experience is through repetition. So even if you have a few dollars, I still want you to allocate a ton of time towards wholesaling. Why? Because you need the experience to figure out how to talk to motivated sellers, how to pull these lists, and how to get through the process. And this is going to be the most taxing in the first 90 days of wholesaling. So you have to account for your time and you got to account for money. There are some tools you can use to make your life a little bit easier, but there's going to be no substitution for the actual experience of talking to motivated sellers.
And the next one, the most important one, this is just attacking with that plan, that game plan that you set up, and just going after it. So it's all depending on your plan. The reason why I love attack, this part into the virtual wholesaling process, is there's no thinking. There's not like, what should I do today? Or what? No, you already have a plan. You set it out. You're going to do it. That's what you got to do. Make the plan. You're just executing the plan at this point. It's like being a delivery driver. They already have the routes already set. You just got to drive and do the work. You already set out the plan. You know what you got to do. Go after it. Attack. It's like a battle. In the middle of a battle or in the boxing ring in your boxing, you just don't take a break. You don't quit until the bell's rung. You are going to keep going, and you're going to keep attacking on your marketing and getting wholesaling deals. We're calling, we're texting, we're meeting with sellers, we're locking up deals, we're getting properties under contract. We're doing whatever it takes to get that wholesaling real estate deal.
So the next step after you attack is you have to analyze. You have to find out what actually worked and what didn't work. And just so you know, this is a phase where a lot of you get caught up, and some of you are so freaked out because you're so uncomfortable. This is where you just stop. And I'm here to tell you, you actually have to do the opposite. You got to press forward. So you're going to analyze and find out what you did real good at and what got you results. And so basically you're going to have to analyze basic KPIs. Do not overcomplicate this. KPI is key performance indicators. You're going to take how many phone calls you reached out, how many appointments you went on, how many contracts you wrote, and how many deals you actually sold. It might be none. It might be 3 or 5. I don't know. But some of your plan is going to work phenomenally and some of it's going to fail. This is part of the experience of wholesaling. Remember, all real estate is local. And so I get it, you're doing virtual, but there's some things that you're going to test and try out. You actually have to do them and see what works. And then the things that worked, you can double down on. The things that aren't working, you have to make a decision to try to keep pressing forward. Maybe you just need some more experience at it. You need more people. Or maybe it just doesn't work in this market and I need to find another avenue. See, when you analyze a plan, the idea is it's just like if you were in the military. If you have a plan to attack the enemy and you move forward and this worked well, but this we got killed on, you got to decide to change the part that didn't work and move forward. All businesses have a plan and they all have to adjust. And how do they do it? The first thing is after you attack, you have to analyze. and you have to take the emotions out of them and go, this worked well, this was terrible. You also have to separate, is it just fear that's going to freeze you up, or is the plan just failing altogether? Or take the parts of the plans that work. Sometimes 90% of the plan didn't work. The 10% worked, and you learn and you go, okay, I'm not going to make this mistake, and I move forward. Analyzing is a critical part. This is the part where you don't stop. You actually have to press forward, because this is the phase you're most vulnerable at, because you are wildly uncomfortable and you're not sure if you're doing the right things to move forward. The analyzation will help you deep dive in your business and find out what's working. Remember, keep it simple KPIs, key performance indicators, find out what works, and pivot on the stuff that's not moving the needle for you to get further in your wholesaling business.
So after we're done analyzing, we got to pivot, right? And this is really important. This is kind of like our halftime, right? When we're trying to figure out what's going on, we see, all right, we got to do this isn't working, this isn't working, this is our analyzing. Then we make our readjustments, we make our changes. Hey, this list isn't doing well, maybe we're going to start adding this list instead, or this isn't working, and this, and you just got to switch things up. And we just pivot, we make some adjustments, and then we do the next step here, which is just re-attacking. We made our adjustments, then we keep going forward and keep attacking. And we're going to keep going till we become successful, get our first deal or second deal, third, fourth, and all the way to millions of dollars virtually wholesaling houses. Guys, this plan is not complicated. Pick your right market, choose 2 lists and 2 marketing channels, make a plan, attack, analyze, pivot, and then re-attack. I would say for most people who actually want to do this plan, actually want to go for it to the fullest extent, I would probably try to at least call 1,000 sellers every single month, which I don't think is that complicated. That's almost 40, 35 a day. So I'm not really asking for much when you get your first virtual wholesaling deal. I'm asking you for 34, 35 sellers to call every single day, which really isn't that complicated, and you can get a great deal. Just focus, stay consistent, and you'll get virtual wholesaling results. Guys, if you want to learn my scripts, tips, contracts, me actually virtually closing sellers, just go to my free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com, where you have everything you need to know from virtual wholesaling step by step. Guys, got any value from this video? Do me a favor, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. We'll see you soon. This is Zach signing out.
Rick signing out.
Have a blessed one.
See you guys.